Hey everybody, today we're going to go over the new slash updated server versus server event. After watching a bunch of YouTube videos and comparing it to what it is now, the server versus server event got an update because before it was based on the top like 10 to 20 people, whereas I think they were trying to make this more of a all-around battle. This event works a lot like the Odinium event, where it's kind of like a 30 versus 30 alliance thing, but now it's server versus server, no holds bar, everybody's involved. Level 80s down to even a level 5. Bobo in our server was putting in work for us and causing a hassle for server 986. With that, I want to say server 986 was an awesome group of people. They definitely came prepared to fight and had a good game plan, and they stuck to it, and it helped them prevail for the victory. Also, they're a great group of people. Like I said, we sat in chat. Our cross zone chat's been nonstop talking. Everybody just shooting the breeze and having a good time, which is what this game is really about. Is everybody having a good time? So how the matchups work is everybody gets put into a pool based on their point total. These point totals are predetermined for the first one. Everybody was given 1,000 points. After this, things will change and your pools will be smaller, but the matchups are based upon your pool. So for this first war, everybody was in it. And after I've spoken to about 5 or 6 different wars that have occurred, all the matchups seemed pretty evenly matched. And what I mean by that is um, either side could have won if they came with the right game plan, but the side that came with the better game plan was the winner. Um, and so after you get your matchup, there is some other things that happen, but I kind of want to point out how you can see your rankings quick before I go into the actual server versus server war, which is a pretty short thing actually. So down here at the bottom, you will see the battle record and ranking button. The battle record will show all your history of all your server wars, and it is a pretty self-explanatory thing. So you'll see your server name, how many points you had, and then at the end how many points it went down, up or down to. So ours went up down to 984. The other enemy 986 went up to 116. And then the ranking button shows your ranking throughout all the war zones overall. And that is kind of cool to see. I wish they would have some kind of like seasonal rewards here for everybody. So if you were the #1 server, you'd get a nice fat reward, but still you'll get bragging rights, which is kind of a cool thing that if you were to go into your cross server or server chat saying, "Hey, we're ranked #1, let's go." It's a pretty cool thing to say. So this event starts in a prep stage. This gives the leaders of both sides the option to choose one of 4 quadrants to call their battle zone. This battle zone goes from corner to capital to corner to corner. This is a quarter of the map, and it's partially, I think it's done like this because they're trying to force us to fight and force us to have more action, which will keep more people interested in the game, and I like that. That's a great idea to kind of minimize not having to search the whole map. You only have to search a quarter of the map. You are able to port anywhere on the map, but just a forewarning that you can only stuff that happens in this area counts. So your leader wants to choose this area wisely. They want to make sure to include as many of the enemy's big alliances as possible in this area so that you can port to their hive and get individual points if you'd like. But on the flip side to that, that means their alliance is also closer to the runes to defend the runes. And the runes are the goal to win the server. So each rune is given a predetermined point total. Level 1 and 2 were 20 points. Level 3 was 40. The silos were each 50, and the capital was 100. That's a total of 11 points of objective. And if you were to capture that for the full 2 hours of the war, you would gain approximately 52,000 points. So that's kind of your basis of that's the maximum. If you ever get 52,000 points, it means you were in a very unbalanced war, and it's nothing to brag about because that means that it wasn't even a competition. That's like a major league team facing a little league team. It's just not, it's no fun, honestly, for either side. So, what you do for this is it works like the Odinian War, where you need to capture a point. So, we're going to use rune number 12 here as our example. So, if Famine walks in here and I capture this for 1 minute, I will have gained no points. And I say that because that first minute you have to conquer. So this is what you call the conquer minute. You're just sitting in there waiting to start conquering, or you're sitting in there conquering it, waiting to have captured it. At that point, once that minute's up, a ticker will go across the screen that says Famine from server 970 captured rune number 12. And basically, the point of that ticker is to alert the enemy server that I'm there, I captured it, and it's kind of their alarm system to go kill it. And the reason we lost our server war is because the enemy was way better at hitting the snooze button on their alarms than we were. So after that minute where you've captured it, then you start gaining points. So for from when you go from 1 to 2 minutes, that is when you would get your first 20 points. 2 to 3 minutes would get you 40 points, and so on and so forth. But you do not get partial points. So if you get for a minute and a half, you do not get 10 points. You have to hold it for the full duration of the minute. So always try to make sure if for some reason you have to leave it, try to remember when you start so you get a full point or a full minute instead of partial minutes, because those do not count for anything. So that's kind of the basis of the event. You really want to hold that as long as these points as long as you can, because that is what gives you the points to win the server versus server side. And I'm going to kind of talk about this like it's two separate events, because in my mind it is. There's the server versus server event, and then there's the individual rankings event. The server event is all about the points of interest. Those points of interest, oh come on, are what give you the victory or not. So your Warzone score is what allows you to be the winner or the loser. It is possible to tie, and they do have tiebreakers in place to control that. But that is what makes it so you, it's kind of your telltale of how well you did. So their server had almost 14,000 points. We had 1,000. It kind of shows you they held our points of objective a lot better than we held theirs, and it also shows you that we didn't defend ours very well. Because you got to remember, this is going on in both servers, so 970 and 986. There's a quadrant that's fighting. So really, there's 22 points of interest that you have to worry about defending and capturing. Say you guys did did tie in the Warzone score, it would go to the capital. So if you controlled the opposing team's capital or not, if both of those words were the same, so if they both said no or they both said yes, then it would go to runes. If for some reason you were able to have the exact same number of runes also, then it goes on to a point battle from the top 10 people in the individual score. That doesn't mean each server's top 10 people. That means the top 10 people total. And it goes off of your server. So if you have 5 people, they have 5 people, then it's going to go off of whoever had more points. If they had 9 people and you only had 1 person, then obviously they're going to win because they had 9 people in the top 10. Unless you had one whale that was just completely miles ahead in points. But it just goes off of the points total. I'll show you that when we get to the individual event part of this. And then the defeat enemy units just kind of shows you the death total. Kind of a cool stat to see how many troops died in a 2-hour period for both of the servers. That's 170,000 total troops that died in a matter of 2 hours between just two servers. So that's kind of how that works. Other than that, the only other thing that I really wanted to talk about was shielding. Um, there's a lot of confusion with the shielding, so I just want to kind of spell this out for everybody with the shields. This battle zone, you cannot shield in it. Um, if you were previously shielded before the event and you're already sitting in your own battle zone, then your shield will remain. But you cannot port into the battle zone with a shield. It will kick it off, and you cannot be in the battle zone and try to shield. It will kick it off. So basically, what that means is if you want to be shielded, go to your own server and go to the other side of the map and shield. You don't want to be unshielded during this event. Some things that I'm going to suggest is purging your inactives in this event. If somebody's not going to be on for the event, make sure that they're shielded for the event. If they're not going to be shielded for the event, I suggest about a half hour before the event, go and kill everybody in your server. It might make some people upset, but this event, feeding into the enemy team is only going to hurt you. So anything you can do in your own server, I would. So that's kind of the server versus server part of it. There's not a lot to it. Basically, you're just trying to hold those points. Obviously, you might want to focus on the higher point total buildings, but at the same time, you got to kind of weigh the balance of how many of those do you want to take and how many of your strongest guys do you want going at that, while you still have to protect yours so the other team's not sitting on them. Because in reality, you both could sit on all 11 points of interest for the whole time and you'd end up tying. And then it would all come down to who had more individual points at the very end. So it's all a balance of what your server is capable of versus what you think the other server is capable of. So by that, I mean, my server, I would think if I was to put together a team with my server, I would probably have a certain couple people sit for defending. And what I mean by that is I would probably take my strongest guy or strongest two guys and I would have them port around and clear these ruins. And they could have a team of some middle range people that would help them clear the lower people and things like that. But that's kind of how I'd work that. And then I would take teams and I would have them capture the capital. I wouldn't worry tons about the silos. I might have somebody that clears the silos just so they aren't attacking the capital. Because remember, if you sit in the silos after a certain amount of time, they do actually attack the troops that are in the capital. And then I would have a team focus on this, and then I'd have a team focus on these. Those ones that are far out, those level 1 ruins, I think they're undervalued for the fact that they're kind of spread out and they're kind of out in the distance where a lot of the fight always seems to go on around the capital in these types of events. So you could kind of sneakily stay under the radar if there's a lot of fights going on near the capital and control those for periods of time with not so large accounts. So now we'll go on to the reward section. These rewards here are based upon your individual rewards and then whether your server won or lost. So in the top middle, you'll see your individual total, and then it'll actually tell you if you've collected them all. If you've played these games, you know well enough that if you have or haven't collected things, but it tells you it for some weird reason. And what this is you will get your individual points based on killing Dark Legion in the enemy battle zone, killing enemies, or holding facilities. So those are the 3 ways to get individual scores. And with those, you will get your point total. With your point total, you'll get rewards based upon whether you win or loss. You will see here, I'm just going to highlight the 800 even though I have the 15. So I got 120,000 points, which is definitely more than 800. But you will see I got the loser rewards. So I got these rewards. If I was part of the winning squad, I would have gotten these rewards. You can't get both, obviously. You can only get your segment of rewards. And these rewards are not hard to get. 1,500, we had over 100 people in our server get our two servers get these rewards at the bottom here. These rewards are purple skills, gold, and then these random green material boxes, and these ones up here are white, and then some experience. There's not a lot to do with the individual stuff. I kind of explained how you got the points. The thing is, don't be killing on the little guys. They won't give you any points, so they're not really worth wasting too much on them. Troops level 40 and over are the only ones that will give you points, and the higher the troop level, the more points. So if you're killing a level 80, you're going to get, if you kill one level 80 unit and you kill one level 40 unit, there's going to be a big difference in points just between doing that. So then the next tab is the individual ranking tab. This tab shows you basically how well you did in the individual part of the event. Basically, this is kind of like the kill event tab, I call this, because that's where most of these points are going to come from. You'll see if you scroll through our top 10, you have, I'll explain who's from what server. Noelix from 986, Doctors from 970, Dirty Nun, V&E are both 986. I'm 970. Voodoo is 986. Aggro is in 970. Rose, Flux, and FNF are all in 986 also. So you can see if it came down to the top 10 thing, we have 3 people in the top 10, they have 7. So they pretty clearly would have won that. Even if we had had the top spot at 226, that wouldn't have offset a 4-person difference. These rewards in the individual event are very, very good. So the server events are meh rewards for what it takes to get them. But the individual event, these rewards are quite good. So I'm just going to go over first place, and then you guys can click this reward info tab button here if you want to kind of go through and see what all the other places are. So first place is 30 orange shards, 100 rare skills, 35 premium recruits, 8 purple choice boxes. These are for your equipment, and they are your choice of which piece you want. So that is they're not the blueprints. These are the actual equipment to make it, or the materials to make the equipment. That's a big, big reward right there. That's, I'd say, at least 20 days worth of producing those materials to get that, if not more. And then 3 perk books. These are all very substantial rewards. The blue material box is the same thing as the purple. It's just you'll get blue instead of the purple ones. This event, I'm going to kind of give you guys a little rundown of my thoughts of this event and how you need to play it. This event was played really well by 986. They kind of went at us right away. They didn't really go for the runes in the capital all that much right off the bat. I mean, they had a couple people that would hit it while they waited for everybody to get on and be ready. But then they just started zeroing us. While that may not sound like a great thing for the grand scheme of the war, for us, that's the best way to basically cut off your enemy. If they have no troops or they only have 1 march, they're not going to be very effective at defending things, because once you send your strongest march out to a point, your base is left open. So you got to kind of play a balance of how you want to go about this event. The definite thing you will want to do is make sure you have your defense set up well. I gave a pretty good rundown of how to set up your defense in the individual defense video. If you want to kind of go peek at that, you can find that on my channel. Otherwise, if you guys have anything else you want added, or have any other things to say about this video, let me know in the comments. I'll gladly respond to you guys, pin anything that's good information to share with the rest of the world. Um, I'm definitely here to help. I'm not here to try to keep secrets from anybody. So if you guys are wondering how a level 80 with only level 79 units scored so high, I was basically porting in, hitting somebody, and then porting away. Basically making it so that they couldn't find me. A guerrilla warfare type of tactic. I think Doc was actually doing a pretty similar thing, but I know like Noelic, Dirty Nun, and Vianney, they were able to. They're kind of a bigger account, so they were able to just kind of port in, hit 5, 6, 7 people, and then move on to the next group of people. So just kind of food for thought there. Of you got to know what you're capable of and how you need to play. Um, and if you're wondering how I got so many ports, I probably went through a good 150 to 200 ports fighting. VIP store, you can come right to this little button right here, and it gives you a port at half off. Um, may not seem like a lot, but that's basically buying 2 ports for one if you run out of ports and you're buying them with gems. So with that, I think I am going to let you guys go for the day. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Like I said, if you have anything you want to add, please let me know in the comment section. Please remember to like and subscribe, and have a great day. See ya.